Middlesex lost their latest Clydesdale Bank 40 match in a low-scoring game in Derby, which had been reduced to 38 overs per side because of rain during the Derbyshire innings. On what looked like a slow wicket from the start, Neil Dexter won the toss and asked Derbyshire to bat first, and his bowlers had early success, with Pedro Collins bowling Steve Adshed with a perfect in-swinger with his fifth ball. It was a sluggish start by Derbyshire, bringing back the old days of cricket and black and white television, hence these pictures, for which we apologise. Chesney Hughes made only 13 from 27 balls before he was out to end the 8th over with the score on 23, Collins bowling in with a full toss. Conditions were not ideal for a one-day contest, with the ball on top from the off on a damp surface. Wes Durston and Derbyshire's new captain Greg Smith tried to redress the balance a bit, as both managed to find the boundary, and as the innings came to the end of the 10th over, they lost their third wicket. Smith was the man to go, caught down the leg side, again off Collins, as Derbyshire slipped to 34 for 3. And that became 49 for 4 midway through the 14th over, as Durston was brilliantly caught at slip by O.A. Shah. Dan Redfern would have been out after stepping onto his own wicket, but he knew that it was a free hit, following a no ball, so there was nothing for him to worry about. There was a short break for rain, which reduced the match by 2 overs per side, and once the players returned to the pitch, the ball still didn't come onto the bat, as emphasised by this shot, which Redfern got away with. Timing the ball was a tough ask, and boundaries were few and far between. Redfern was the next out after a decent stand, though, of 51, which had carried the total to 3 figures. He was caught by Dexter off Toby Rowland-Jones for 23. Gary Park followed 2 overs later, as Dexter bowled him for a duck. Derbyshire were now struggling to post a good score, as they'd stumbled to 103 for 6 in the 26th over. However, the home side recovered well towards the end of their innings, led by Wayne Madsen, who batted superbly. Graham Wagg stuck with him and struck the first 6 of the innings, as the runs at last became easier to score. Madsen reached a fine half-century with this single. Given the conditions and the state his team was in when he came to the crease, it was a very good knot, taking him 61 balls. Wagg perished in the search for quick runs at the end, run out by Gareth Berg after a complete mix-up with Madsen. But he stayed there until the end, helped by John Clare, who gave the Derbyshire innings some impetus. He struck Collins for a second 6 in the innings to end with 21 off 17 balls, to take his side to a competitive 192 for 7 from their 38 overs. Madsen the star with an undefeated 71, his highest one-day score. Middlesex would have been very confident at the halfway stage, but lost Scott Newman to the second ball of their innings, as he edged Wagg behind to go for a duck. Shah then played on to depart for 8, also to Wagg, who was bowling a splendid opening spell. He bowled through his 8 overs, in which he also removed David Milan, who drove him to Madsen at point, to finish with figures of 3 for 22. Before he'd bowled out, though, Middlesex had also lost John Simpson, who was well held at short cover off Smith after making 16. At 29 for 4, Middlesex now had it all to do, but they could take heart from Derbyshire's own recovery. They needed to find someone to play the Madsen role now, and Berg looked like he could be the man. However, he was trapped in front by Mark Footit, whose spell in the middle of the innings effectively finished off the game. Bowling with some pace, he had Tom Scully very well held at second slip, an unusual field placing in 40 over cricket. He went for a duck, as did Sean Udall, who went 2 balls later, edging a drive behind as Middlesex found themselves on 70 for 7. So it was left to the bowlers to try to help Dexter out, and Murtagh played some neat strokes in making 20. But he then came charging down the wicket and was run out as he tried to recover his ground. Rowland-Jones then clouted Smith out to Park in the deep to go for 6. And the match was over when Dexter holed out to long on for a top score of 30. In 27 and a half overs, Middlesex had been bowled out for 110 to lose by 81 runs on the Duckworth-Lewis method. Although there was nothing in this game, it was a performance which the Panthers will want to learn from. They do have the opportunity for immediate revenge, as they now take on the same opposition in the Championship.